This edition of MacVoices is sponsored by Linode, high-performance cloud hosting for everyone. Visit linode.com/MacVoices and take $20 off your first server package. Welcome back to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, this is another of our Road to Macstock shows where we're talking to the presenters, we're talking to the participants, we're talking to the attendees of Macstock 2019 in Woodstock, Illinois in July. This time, we don't have exactly a speaker. We have more of one of the event hosts, Mr. Guy Serle. Guy, I did a terrible job of that, but here you are. Hi.
Yeah, we can work with this, Chuck. It's not a problem.
Well, you and Tim Robertson are not technically, if we're splitting hairs, you're not speakers, but you're going to be doing something now that you've been doing for how many years at Macstock? 3, 4?
No. This is the second year for the MyMac quiz, which is kind of. It's a combination of like to tell the truth and let's make a deal and, some of the classic game shows, except every single person that participates wins whatever prize it is that we say is they're going to get, because if they don't know the answer, we pretty much give it to them. We don't want to take this stuff home. We had some great prizes last year. I haven't talked to Tim yet, so I don't know what companies are ponying up stuff this year, but if it's based on last year, basically the way it works, Tim stands on stage with the microphone. He is like the I almost said maitre d', but that's not that's really not it. He's like the host, so he's the guy that's in charge. He's got the clicker with the keynote presentation that brings up the questions and all the rest of that. And I'm out in the audience grabbing people and forcing them to participate with my 6'6" frame, with my super long hair. And they either think I'm like some kind of crazy biker or, the weird uncle that everybody seems to have in their family. And either way, it's probably they're like, okay, I better say something, or this guy is really just going to go off on me here. So, we ask them some questions, and if they get 3 of them right, which they surprise, they always do, then they get a prize. And last year we had David Cohen, who is Tim's partner on their podcast Tech Fan, and he was the one that was kind of grabbing the prizes off the prize table. Kind of I can't remember the woman that was on. I think it was Let's Make a Deal, Carol Merrill, something like that. Yeah, where she'd be like, okay, well, Carol, show us what fabulous prizes they've got for us now. And then the curtain would open and it would be like a goat or something if they made the wrong choice. But no goats at Macstock 2019.
That's a relief, Guy. Thank you for clarifying that.
Well, when you're dealing with me and I say something like goats, people are actually going to sit there and go, is he serious? Is he actually going to give someone goats? No, there will be no livestock that I know of involved in this presentation at all.
But knowing you would not be beyond bringing a stuffed goat.
Well, if I'm going to bring any kind of animal, chances are it's going to be live. So, just fair warning. That is fair warning.
Okay. All right. Maybe a goldfish.
Goldfish in a little plastic bag.
Yeah.
Here's your goldfish.
Yeah.
Way to throw the ball into the bucket. Yeah, goldfish.
I'm sorry I brought it up, folks. I really am.
But it's going to be, we have such a great time with it. The whole point of this, of the MyMac Game Show quiz or the MyMac quiz, isn't that you're going to leave the 45 minutes or however long it is that we're doing it with, special knowledge of Mac trivia or Mac history, or even that you're going to go away with a prize. This is going to be 45 minutes or more of just sheer entertainment. You will laugh, you will cry, you will wish that you had gone someplace else that weekend, but it's still going to be fun no matter what it is you do. And see, that's the thing about Macstock. You know, now Chuck, you went to the Macworld Expo all those years ago, and especially in the latter years of the Macworld Expo, when it became more iPhone case expo, it really wasn't a whole lot of fun. When the people that were in the press room, we would go out onto the floor, and it's like, oh God, I got to find something to talk about here. And most of us would end up in Tiny Town, if you remember where that was. And for people who don't know what Tiny Town is, I know I'm rambling, but that's what I do. It was a small table that would have like anywhere from 2 to 4 people with these whatever little things it was that they were trying to sell. And it was great because you were talking to these hungry developers that was making these wonderful products, sometimes not so wonderful products, but they were still hungry. And when all you had, as soon as Apple pulled out all the big, the Microsofts and the Adobes, they all pulled out as soon as Apple did. And so we were left with kind of a shell of the show from what it used to be. And that wasn't IDG's fault. It was that's just what happened. And it's what was going on with conventions like that in the first place. However, for us that were in the press room, the real fun wasn't even on the floor, and it wasn't talking to these people who were bringing cases over from wherever. It was getting together in the press room and in the hotels and wherever it is that we would congregate and just kind of catch up, see what's going on. And not only between the people that were working the press, but also some of the people that were just there on the floor. They would see us talking and come over and talk to us. That's what Macstock is like. It's like throw out the case makers, throw out all the nonsense, and you are left with a community of Mac users that just want to get together, have a good time, maybe learn a little something, but at the end of the day, you're going to walk away from Macstock 2019, just like you did for the 4 previous years, knowing that it was money well spent and that you had a wonderful time.
Yeah, the wonderful time. And it really, it doesn't matter what your agenda is to come. Whether if you're coming to learn, great. If you are coming to see friends, great. If you're coming to make friends, great. You can do it all at Macstock, and that's what is so, I think, wonderful about it. But I do want to point out some of the things. Last year, I mean, the place was in hysterics with you guys on stage doing the thing. But you also had a little bit of robotic help last year, which, as I understand it, kind of happened at the last minute.
Well, I had heard mention of it on the day that we were doing the quiz, and I wasn't quite sure how it was going to work out. We had Larry O'Connor, from Otherworld Computing, and he couldn't be there live, which is weird because OWC's headquarters, I mean, you could throw a rock from the McHenry County College where we held Macstock and hit Otherworld Computers headquarters from where they were. But he decided he was going to do like a virtual presence. So they set up it was kind of like a Segway from hell that had like an iPad on the top of it, and he could see out and he was controlling it from where he was. But because of the nature of how long it takes for commands of these types to move something forward or backward remotely, it really wasn't working that well. And we were having trouble originally just even getting it to connect. And we thought we were going to have to dump the whole thing, but they finally got it working. And we were about halfway through the quiz, as I recall. And they start this thing starts wheeling out, and he's like the third participant or the fourth participant in the MyMac Game Show quiz, and at one point he gets his little wheelie thing turned, and it's headed out toward the audience. Now there's a hard edge to the stage, and then you got like a 3-foot drop. And as he was getting closer and closer to the edge of the stage, you could hear the murmuring start in the audience. And then just he was like maybe a foot away, everyone is going, "Stop! No, stop!" And it was like even Barry Falk was like lunging forward to grab something to keep this thing from falling over. Who knows how much it costs? But it's like one of those classic moments that you can only get at a small conference like this. And it's the audience. It's not so much, again, it's not about the prizes, and it's not about the learning and all the rest of that. It's about the community. It's about all of these people getting together to have a good time and to just get that feeling of, okay, we're all Mac users, we're all iOS users, we're all using products from Apple, and we're just going to have a great time. And the whole thing just kind of builds on itself, where you've got, you start off with the Friday night get together. This is like the second year for that. I think it was kind of unofficial last year. But if you have a weekend pass, you are invited to the Friday night get together. And then it goes all the way through Saturday with, you get lunch on Saturday, you get lunch on Sunday, you've got the MyMac Game Show quiz, I think, just after lunch. And then Saturday night, you've got Barry Falk's Midwest Mac, what's he calling that? Midwest Mac Game Night, something?
Mingle.
And he's got 2 rooms set up with games, including an Apple TV where you've got like audience participation games. And it's just so much fun. And last year it was, the theme was productivity. This year the theme is create. So there's going to be like a mini film festival, of which I am planning on submitting the film. There should probably be a warning before the film begins, because I'm not quite sure how it's going to work out, but it's still going to be I'm going to have a blast doing it. But everyone that attends this show, you're going to get your well under $200 worth from attending the show like this. Right now with the early bird special, it's $179. And with Chuck's coupon code, I'm not going to say my code because this is Chuck's show, so he gets to have his code in. You get another $10 off, and it's like $169 for 2.5 days of just sheer fun.
No, okay, so no, wait a minute. We're not going to do that. My code is MacVoices. Surprise, surprise. But your code is?
My code is mymacguy, all one word.
Okay, so it doesn't matter which one you use. Use one of them and save the $10. But by all means, use it. But more importantly, go and sign up. Yeah.
And the thing about having an event that is so close to Chicago, you can get to Chicago from almost anywhere in the world on a nonstop flight. If you can't get to Chicago from where you live, then you're probably in the Arctic Circle. I can't think of any other place you could possibly live that you couldn't get to Chicago.
Yeah.
And yes, I bring this kind of energy as I'm doing the show. Though I get kind of tired on Sunday because I'm trying to break down all the podcasting gear that I bring. I'm bringing less this year. I'm bringing less. I had a 4 microphone set up last year. I never had more than 1 or 2 people. So it's like, oh, that was stupid.
4 microphones, a mixer, and probably at least 20 miles of cable. To set up out there. So yeah, I'd be interested to see what your rig is, because just like all of us, you're one of those guys that loves to tinker, loves to come up with something new. And what's the setup going to be this year? So
it's going to be a little more subdued from last year. I'm basically just bringing 2 microphones this year, though I still will have an Audio-Technica 2100 to plug in through Rogue Amoeba's brilliant audio hijack and loopback software, so that I can have up to 3 people at one time. But I don't anticipate having more than that on at any given time. Almost forgot. Mac Swap will be happening again this year. So there'll be tables of stuff. Some of it will be mine. My wife is still on me about, you brought stuff home last year. I said, no. That's new stuff that I have to take this year. So, she wants me to take all the stuff that I don't use on a regular basis and take that to Macstock and just get it out of the house. Her stuff is sacrosanct. Can't touch her stuff. My stuff, get it out of the house.
Yeah, I know I took a suitcase full last year of
Yeah.
and not junk either, good stuff, but
Yeah.
it doesn't fit what I'm doing now or
Hmm.
whatever. So that also was very cool. And it was especially cool with the Mac Swap because not only were you there perusing things and saying, "Gee, is there anything I can use?" But it was a little bit of a trip down memory lane too. It's like, yeah, I
Oh
used to
yeah.
have one of those, or yeah, I loved that thing, and I don't use it anymore, but I love that.
Well,
And
I don't think it was last year. I think it was the year before. There was actually like an old, like 2007 or 2008 Mac Pro. And I think there was also like a G5 Mac Pro there as well. That it was like some 10-year-old kid was like, "Oh, I'm taking that." And,
yeah,
basically with the help of his father and a couple of pack donkeys got it out because these things are huge. So yeah, there's so much stuff going on. And the other thing that you have to remember about Macstock and all the speakers that are there, if you attend one of the speakers, what's the word?
sessions.
Sessions. Thank you. After it's over, if you want to know more about that subject, not only will a lot of them have deeper dives, but you can most likely, I know I saw it all the time over the course of the last 4 years, just go up to the person that just gave the session and ask them questions. I had all kinds of people asking me questions about audio gear when they saw my setup there on the table, which coincidentally was like one table away from Mac Swap, and I had to keep going, no, you can't take this stuff. This is my stuff. Leave that microphone alone. You can't have it. But yeah, I'd have people come up and saying, okay, well, how does this work and how you got that hooked up and what do I have to do this and do that? And I'm handing out my email and answering questions. And it was just, I love doing those kinds of things. I'm a helper kind of guy. You know that, Chuck, right? Yeah.
Oh, well, and listen, everybody is there.
Yeah.
You're sharing tips and tricks. And okay, if you're a novice, that's fine. But it's always amazing to me how many people really classify themselves as novices. You get into a conversation with them and they have an idea that you never thought about or a
Yeah.
solution you haven't considered. So it's absolutely sharing. And to your point about the speakers, yeah, and the speakers are not sequestered, behind curtains or in
No,
limos.
not which they a lot of times they were at the Macstock, the Macworld Expo.
Yeah, and some of them had to be, but just realistically. But here, I mean, the speakers are out eating lunch with everybody else, and
Mhm.
they're at the Mac Mingle on Saturday night. They'll be there for the get together on Friday night, if assuming they're in town on in time.
Right.
It is just sometimes I worry that we all use the word conference and it may sound just a little too stodgy, but I also don't want to use the word festival because then it sounds like kind of
Like
hippy
it's not
dippy.
serious. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just this mix of community and education and fun that you just don't get anywhere else. Linode.com/MacVoices is where you want to go if you need a virtual hosted cloud server. Why is Linode so great? Because that's what Linode specializes in. They feature native SSD storage, a 40 gigabit network, and industry-leading processors so that your server is FAST fast. Because you pay for only what you use, with hourly billing across all plans and add-on services. No extra charges for data transfer, no hidden fees or nasty surprises at the end of the month. Because Linode has a new cloud manager with an improved user interface, so deploying your server or servers is easier than ever. Because Linode has data centers around the world, including one just launched in Toronto and one opening soon in Mumbai. So if location matters, Linode has it covered. Because they have a large documentation library to help you get started and help you make the most of your server. Because Linode has 24/7 live customer support, so if you get stuck or have issues, help is just a phone call away. Because Linode has a ton of add-ons, so that you can customize your server with exactly what you want and what you need. Backups, blocks, node balancers, load balancers, and much more. So what do you need to take advantage of all this? Visit linode.com/MacVoices to get set up and to get $20 credit towards your first server. Again, linode.com/MacVoices gets you $20 off your first server. Check it out now and be up and running in minutes. Thanks to Linode for their support of MacVoices.
You know, I kind of alluded to it earlier when I was talking about the McHenry Community College. And, you know, a lot of people think, oh, you're having it at a community college. Isn't that special? This place is set up. The auditorium that the McHenry Community College has, the Luch, I can never figure out how that is pronounced. The Luch Conference Center. It's got this beautiful kind of concave seating with this nice stage and good sound, and you know everything is set up for the speakers. There is not a bad seat in this auditorium, and you are not so far away that you cannot see when these hosts that come out, some of them are giving speeches for the first time or having their little eye twitch, you know, as they're going out on stage. You can see that. You can see the people coming up. You can see the flop sweat. You can see all the things that you would expect to see from just ordinary people coming on out and sharing their knowledge with you.
Guy, I'm not sure we want to advertise flop sweat as an asset here.
That's definitely an asset because, you know, you learn from failure. I have learned from failure all my life. Oh, wait.
Yeah. No, this is not the True Confessions podcast.
Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. Good.
You got confused. So
that happened.
To go back to the game show, how does one become a contestant in the MyMac quiz or MyMac Game Show?
Well, you know, it's funny you should ask, Chuck. Mostly I just ask for people to volunteer. Sometimes, like there was one young man last year who was wearing this really unusual pair of boots. And I was like, oh, I've got to talk to this guy. There was something about those boots. It was like, it clicked something in my head. And it was like, all right, I am going to ask this guy a question. He deserves a prize for those boots. So it really just depends on what people are willing to volunteer. You know, you kind of have to be willing to put yourself out there a little bit. And, you know, I will definitely, you know, drag the best out of you as we're standing there talking back and forth. And, you know, again, there's no way to lose in this show. It's it's just one of those things. It's like, come on, we want you to have fun. We want you to you know, grab the opportunity to kind of take the stage a little bit for yourself. We want to share the wealth of what it's like to be actually part of the Macstock community instead of just being a passive member of the audience. We want you to be seen.
Okay, that's so unusual boots, or this sounds a little more like the Let's Make a Deal thing, where the crazier they dress, the more likely they were to get picked. So if you want to be part of this, or maybe just tackle Guy, you know, Saturday morning and say, hey, I really want to do this, I kind of don't think he will turn you down.
No, probably not. And I'm, you know, oddly enough, I'm very easy to spot in a crowd.
I've heard that.
Yeah, it's true.
Just follow the 20 miles of cable to to a microphone, and there's a guy hanging out.
Yeah, and you'll see just like this big, huge, bald head like moving through the crowd. So easy to find.
So, Guy, we haven't talked to you for a little while here. Catch us up with what you're doing. I mean, obviously, you're doing the MyMac Game Show at Macstock, but what else? Gary, Gaz, Maz, Malpaz, and I are still doing the mymac.com podcast. We just did our 700th. Sorry, let me rephrase that. We just did the 750th MyMac podcast. Gary and I took it over. Gaz and I took it over at show 285, but saying, hey, this is the 465th MyMac podcast with the G-Men doesn't sound quite as grand as 750. So we went with that. And I'm also doing I haven't done it in a while. I need to do it more often. I do this thing where I record myself in my car as I'm driving around, which is probably dangerous and illegal, but I've never let that stop me before. It's called Guy's Daily Drive, and I don't do it every day, but I am driving. That's over there. You can find that over there in the iTunes, as well as on Wednesday nights.
I do a live cast over on Facebook. You can find that under my own name, Guy Serle, Serle, or you can join the fabulous folks over there in the Mac to the Future community that's there on Facebook. And it's just like about an hour of myself and Dave Ginsburg, who's also going to be at Macstock, and Warren Sklar, who we're trying to get to come to Macstock, where we just talk, we pick up like 3 or 4 stories that interest us and kind of just have a little discussion on it. But it's always fun, and we it's not. This may be hard to believe, but it's not a real serious show, Chuck.
That does surprise me a little bit.
I know, because I'm usually so refined and laid back.
Yeah, and sedate.
You can tell.
Yeah,
sedate. Yeah. I know a lot of people would like to give me medication to make me sedate.
Okay. Are there any doctors coming to Macstock?
If they're not, there should be. There should
bring
be.
Bring a supply, please.
Yeah. Good luck.
Oh,
I'm so easy to find.
Yeah, you won't have any trouble. You won't have
No. So
Macstock 2019. Go there, register. My code is MacVoices. Guys, one more time is
mymacguy. Oh, you know what? I forgot to tell you about my Twitter stuff. I'm on Twitter under MacParrot, which I've had for years and years and years, and a new Twitter handle I have called VertShark, VertShark, which goes along with the website that I'm trying to post all my stuff to, which is vertshark.com. Don't even ask where that name comes from, because it's here. And so those are my 2 Twitter handles. And of course, if you'd like to send me an email, you can send that to Guy, GUI, at mymac.com.
Perfect. VertShark?
VertShark. Actually, I'll tell you. It originally in my mind, it was going to stand for Vertical Shark Publishing. But then I just figured, the name was just so great that I had to have it. And oddly enough, it was a domain that had not yet been taken.
Yeah, that's not. First of all, that's not easy. We can laugh about it, but it's not easy to find anything that has not been taken that has any English words in it. So congratulations.
I know. Can I tell you a quick story?
Sure.
Years ago, I did like this 6 or 7 part kind of how-to on making iWeb websites and how to make an iWeb website not look like an iWeb website. And in order to do that, I needed a domain to test this on. So I picked up MacParrot, macparrot.com. And so I put this site together. It was there for a couple of years. And I actually, did you ever meet Chris Siebold? Did you ever meet him?
I may have met him just to shake hands, but
Okay. Well, he did a book on Mac tips and tricks and things like that. And this series of articles that I did at mymac.com was included in it. So for a couple of years, I had macparrot.com and I had this website up, but I wasn't really doing anything with it. And it came time to renew it. And it was like, why am I spending the money on this? I'm not really doing it. So I let it lapse. And then as I started thinking about making another website for myself, I'll just grab macparrot.com. Who would think that somebody would have macparrot.com? And lo and behold, somebody had grabbed the domain and had just parked, some nonsense on it. And I contacted the guy, and he wanted like $1,500 to get that domain. And it was like, you know what? You keep that. You let me know when somebody wants to spend $1,500 on getting macparrot.com. In the meantime, I'm going to go over here with vertshark.com. So showed him.
Yeah. It really is interesting. Mac anything. I mean, if you can find anything, or good luck. And Apple anything, good luck. It just doesn't happen. So, I mean, just finding VertShark, we're joking about it, but no, that's that's quite the accomplishment. Okay, so Macstock 2019, use one of the coupon codes, but definitely please plan to join us. We want to see you there.
You will not regret it. It is so much fun.
And it is so educational. I mean, everything we just said. If you don't know anybody, don't worry about it. You can come solo, walk in the door. Within 10 minutes, you're going to have friends. Guarantee you. No question.
Guaranteed. Yep, I agree.
Guy, I look forward to seeing you and see what kind of
Oh, you too, Chuck. What kind of madness? The madness.
Yeah, I know that it'll be entertaining. There's no way. Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is Mac Voices. We will see you at Macstock. Until the next time, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with Mac Voices magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.